Joining me right now, Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary and now senior advisor and spokesman for America First Action. He's also the author of the new book, The Briefing. Sean, good to see you.
Good to see you, Trish. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It seemed like Tom Perez was doing everything he could not to say, yeah, I'll endorse her. We heard a lot of excuses and a lot of reasons, but what do you think the real reason is why so many Democrats are running away from Nancy Pelosi right now?
Well, look, you're right. This should be a no-brainer. If you're the chair of the DNC, you should be saying that I totally support Nancy Pelosi. She's done all this great stuff. And second, I am 100% confident that the Democrats will take over the House. He did neither. And I think that was telling on both counts. And I think that speaks to the fact that, I mean, the idea that Nancy Pelosi from San Francisco isn't progressive enough for the Democratic Party right now, and they believe their ideas are old and tired and worn out and not the future of their party, speaks volumes for what Tom Perez sees in his own party. But I also found it very illuminating that when given the opportunity, he says he hopes that they take over the House. If you're the chair of the DNC, and frankly the chair of the RNC, you're supposed to be out there expressing unbelievable confidence in your party's ability to either win or maintain a majority.
So maybe he's just not good at his job.
He did neither.
Maybe he's not good at his job. But I think what's interesting here is what you're saying. In other words, they think that she's not the future of the party. I mean, I got to say, like, they might be onto something. Right?
Well, look,
I mean, when she's talking about how $1,000 is crumbs, yeah, she may not have that big a future in the party.
Yeah, I think that, look, they recognize the fact that they've gone down this road before, and she's taken them, off out of the majority multiple times. She is the single greatest gift that the Republican Party has right now. All you have to do is remind people who the speaker. I won't. I want her. I'm a big fan of Nancy Pelosi staying in Congress for years to come. She is a great gift for us because I think it's very, very symbolic of what the Democratic Party stands for. Once we explain to people that she would be the speaker, we make that race a binary choice. America First is out there running ads around the country and supporting candidates that make it very clear that they're going to support President Trump's policies and agenda, and that if we lose the majority, it's Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and Maxine Waters that are going to start taking over the House of Representatives. And that is a vastly different agenda than Donald Trump and the House Republicans are passing right now that's benefiting so many Americans from coast to coast.
Isn't that true? So how does Kavanaugh affect all this? How does Kavanaugh affect midterms? How does Kavanaugh affect the future of the Republican Party and the future of this president?
That's a very interesting question. I think from a purely political standpoint, there's no question that both sides have dug in and see this as a very polarizing issue for their side, one that's galvanizing support from the right and the left. I think the interesting thing that I find fascinating in terms of the coverage is for all these folks on the left, and you saw, not a single question in that clip asked to Tom Perez. You have the deputy chair of the DNC, Ellison from Minnesota, facing very similar charges, and all of these folks from the Democratic and the left side have yet to mention the allegations that are leveled against him and why he's still the deputy chair of the DNC. That is something that I think should be asked of every Democrat in leadership and in rank and file, that if they're going to take this position with respect to Kavanaugh and the accuser, then why isn't it good for their own?
But don't forget, it was feminists who backed Bill Clinton when he took advantage of that young woman working as his intern. I mean, the double standard in all of this, Sean, can get kind of nauseating.
That was just one of several. And again, look, I think obviously in every one of these cases there's a presumption of innocence. But I think if when you look back again, if you're going to talk about the left, the politicalization of what the left has done, then there are serious questions that need to get asked both of Keith Ellison, the deputy chair of the DNC, of Bill Clinton and others of the left who have credible allegations against them as well. And so it's fascinating, I think, to see how it's very one-sided in these charges.
Sure,
I think
that politics as usual.
These women need to be taken seriously, incredibly, and I think all of them, not just on one side.
It's good to see you, sir. Thank you.
People like to get started on what they think comes next, and that's up to the caucus to decide. But I feel very comfortable about the support that I have in the caucus and that I will be the Speaker of the House.
Election day, 55 days away. This guy's got his eye on it, too. That's the House Majority Leader and California Republican Kevin McCarthy. Sir, how are you, and good morning. Welcome to our program.
I'm doing well.
We might
Thanks
get
for having
interrupted
me
by the press conference. Certainly, life is in danger here. I want to make sure people get the most information as we get it
But
here.
that's very important. I was just talking to the president on
Yeah.
all the preparations just before I came up here, making sure we're prepared for this attack.
Okay, and we were in touch with the mayor and with FEMA too, so we just want to get the word out on that. That to the side, what do you think about Nancy Pelosi being the next Speaker of the House?
Well, that should scare all of Americans. It's not just, if Democrats were to win the majority, I believe Nancy would be Speaker, but that also means Maxine Waters would be Chair of Financial Services, in charge of your banking and insurance across this nation. There are more and more individuals like that. And the reason why I think they would elect Nancy, because remember who's winning in these primaries. The socialists are, and that's much more aligned with where Nancy is in San Francisco than where the rest of the nation is.
All right, well, Maxine Waters mentioned the line impeachment the other day. I know you heard the clip. I think she said it 7 times. Is that motivation for Democrats? I know you're concerned about that call.
I'm concerned about that call, but it shouldn't be shocking to the American public. The Democrats have forced an impeachment vote already twice in this Congress session. They also have Tom Steyer, who has spent more than $120 million trying to get the Democrats to take the majority. They brag that his list for impeachment is larger than the NRA list in America. So just think about that. Not only do they want to impeach the president, they want to abolish ICE. That's the bill they put across. But what the scariest part about this is that they would bankrupt Medicare. This government-run health care that they want to do, it would end the VA. 55% of all Americans get their health care from the employer. That would end. You couldn't have that anymore. But to all the seniors, you would bankrupt the Medicare system. Those are the 3 pillars of their agenda.
Here is, I'm hearing a little something next to you there, so we'll try and override the microphone on the... Here's the tweet from the president regarding Maxine Waters. He says, crazy Maxine Waters. After we impeach Trump, we'll go after Mike Pence. We'll get him. Hashtag at Fox News. Where are the Democrats coming from, he asked? The best economy in the history of our country would totally collapse if they ever took control. That's your job. You got to sell the message about the economy. And I'm looking at these poll numbers, and I don't know if that message is getting through. And that's going to be on folks like you.
Exactly. This economy is the best it's ever been. You look at today, unemployment in the last 49 years has only been below 4%, 9 months in 49 years, and 4 of those 9 months we just lived through this year. You found more jobs available, pay is going up, and it's reaching every person across this country. If you just have a high school degree, you're in a better position. If you happen to be African American or a Hispanic, one of the best numbers you've ever seen. And we've been able to turn this around in such a short time. Remember this, the last administration, the party in power, because the history says the party in power lose seats on the off election. The last administration that had 6 quarters of economic growth and over 4% GDP, they actually gained seats. So remember where we were in the presidential race at this time too? People thought Hillary was going to win. So don't underestimate where we are, because this election is going to be about results versus resistance. And you don't want more resistance if they take the majority.
Well, you have pushed another tax plan, 2.0, probably passes the House in the coming weeks. It's not going to go anywhere in the Senate, but at least you have to go out to the country and tell people about that. You got big concerns about big tech. You represent California, district there. You said this about Google. You said claims to be fair, but gave a silent donation, in your words, to a left-wing group to stop President Trump. Works with China and Russia to censor the internet, but canceled a contract with the military. Ignores a Senate hearing. Well, that's true. Empty chair. It's time for Google to answer some question. An invite will be on its way. When do you expect that to be answered?
I expect it to be very soon, because Facebook and Twitter came in, and we found time and again, what has social media been doing? They've been going after conservatives. But think about Google. Their whole motto was, don't do evil. Well, if you don't do evil, it's not my words, it's their own executives said they had a silent donation where they tried to help people to help Hillary win the election. Also, what are they doing? They're working with China and Russia to censor individuals on the internet, but they stopped working with the U.S. military. Take, for instance, 90% of all searches come through Google. And if you don't make that first page on Google, only 5% ever go to the next. They're controlling the internet in a much different way. And if you were searching the California Republican Party just 2 weeks before the primary, Do you know what it said the ideology of the California Republican Party? Not the party of Lincoln or Reagan, Nazism. So I think there's a lot of questions that have to be answered. They've been invited before.
Yeah, some have been warning about this for years. We'll wait and see what you get answers. I've got to run, but you've got a 23-seat majority. I mean, as it stands today, you look at the map. Can you hang on to that, or do you lose in November?
Look, we can hang on to it just based upon what we've done on this economy, what we've done for the VA. The GI Bill used to be 15 years or you lose it. Think about human trafficking, modern-day slavery. We have stopped that on all the online, and we have done more for opioids than any other Congress before us. There is an ability to change the course of where this country is going. I don't think they want to revert back to Nancy Pelosi. Well, think about what her agenda is: abolishing ICE, impeaching the president. It would not be a country that would get anything done.
Thank you, sir, for your time. I hope you come on back, okay? 55 some odd days to go. Thank you, sir.